My name is Minna Taylor, and I'm the founder of Energize Your Voice. We're a communication coaching and training organization. So anything you get from me will be all around communication, what's coming out of your mouth and what's coming out of your presence. So today we are going to talk about 5 presentation techniques that will always win, online or offline. So no matter where you are, these are going to be your keys to making sure that your presentation is as impactful as it can be. So the first thing you want to learn, establish status and focus. When you are engaging in a presentation scenario, and let's be clear here, this doesn't have to be a formalized presentation. You can be running a meeting. You can be the one who's leading a conversation. You want to make sure that you're holding status. What that allows is for other people to defer to you in terms of who's in charge. When do I move? How do I respond? Do I clap now? Whatever it is, they want to know that there's somebody who they can really plant their focus on. So make sure that you're holding status. A great way to do that is to simply breathe and find stillness. And the most important key here is start when you're ready. If you start before you're ready, you're going to spend the entire time catching up with yourself and your thoughts might get a little bit jumbled. If you start behind the moment when you think you're ready, you'll be moving into a place that we call manufactured presence. So it might look good, but it's something will feel slightly off. So make sure that you establish that status, that you really hold the focus and attention of your audience, and start when you're ready. Through stillness, take a breath, and allow people to place their focus and attention on you. Number 2, you want to make eye contact. Now, let's talk about this. So if you're in a conversation or if you're in a meeting, you can potentially see everybody who's there. So the notion of making eye contact is a little bit more realistic. But let's say you're at a conference or you're on a huge all-hands Zoom call and you've got 30, 40, 50 people on. It's going to be really challenging for you to make sure that you're connecting directly with each individual. So when we talk about eye contact, what we're actually talking about here are central points of focus so that you can have a dynamic expression and people can follow along with your different points. For example, here I am, now here I am, now here's somebody else that I'm talking to. So I'm shifting it so that visually the frame looks dynamic and it's allowing people to feel as though I'm welcoming everybody into the conversation. So if you're on a big stage, you can do this by landing on one side of the audience, in the center of the audience, and on the far side. And again, if you're in a one-on-one conversation, really make sure you're authentically connecting with the person eyeball to eyeball so they can see you. So depending on the size of the engagement, actual eye contact will differ, but the key thing to remember here is central points of focus so that people can land all of their attention in one place and people don't feel like they're getting a little scattered from a focus perspective, from an attention perspective, and they can really be with you on the journey to make sure that they capture your messaging. Number 3, body language. Yes, posture, gesture, all of those beautiful nonverbals that enhance what it is we're trying to say. I don't know if you know this, so here's a fun little piece of data for you. Only 7% of what you say is what people hear or what people receive, right? So 93% of any communication is nonverbal and vocal. So how you're using your voice and how you're using your body are ultimately important. What you say matters, of course. You want to be on message. You want to convey a really clear sense of strategy, potentially. And you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You want to make sure you sound credible. But ultimately, what matters most is that you look credible and your voice sounds credible. So let's talk about posture and gesture and body language. So you can see me here. My shoulders are down and back. I'm keeping a nice open stance. What's happening with my elbows is that they're just gently bent. And I'm keeping them soft at my sides. I like to tell people keep a little air in your armpits so that you don't clam up. That's something I see very often when we're in a position where we have to talk and then my arms are just kind of stuck at my side. So thinking about having a little air in the armpits, dropping the breath into the belly is going to allow my whole posture to open up. Now this is going to be effective whether you're standing or whether you're sitting. You're still going to be able to drop the breath into the belly, making sure that you have full access so that your voice can be present, but your body can remain open and agile. So that's something you really want to pay attention to. Do I have my air in my armpits? Are my hands available to me for gesture? And the best way to ensure that's possible is to keep the elbows bent nice and soft at the side. So even if you're sitting, you can accomplish this. And if you're standing, all the better, so you can be really free in your expression. If you have the opportunity to present standing up, even if you're doing it virtually, I encourage you to do so. You're always going to have that little extra oomph, hold status, and really convey that level of confidence and credibility that's going to create buy-in and create influence in your audience. So really encourage you to do that. When it comes to gesture, it should be a natural extension of your communication. We don't want it to be super distracting, but it has to be present. So if my elbows are bent nice and soft at the side, my hands are going to be nice and soft right above my belly button. So kind of right at the solar plex. You can kind of see it here. And then I'm free to express how I want. And then we come back to, this is what I call home base. So nice and gentle hands, just kind of like lightly settled on top of one another, elbows soft at the side, and then I'm freely to express however I want. And it creates a more visually dynamic picture. This is gonna be really important, especially over Zoom calls or any other digital platform, Microsoft Teams, whatever you're using. It's going to be really important because creating that visually dynamic picture shows people, oh, they're engaged. Oh, they're with me. Oh, they actually want me to receive their messaging. Therefore, I'm more deeply enrolled in paying attention. So it's super important that you look at ease, you look open, you look available. Your hands are visible in the screen, or your hands are available to you if you're in person. And making sure that we're nice and tall and open and have that sense of dropped breath and grounded posture. So number 4, and we already touched on this a little bit, vocal presence. This really matters. So you can hear what I'm doing with my voice. I'm kind of moving up and down. We're calling that dynamics of tone or tonal fluctuation. We want to think about it as having peaks and valleys in our speech. What this does is it allows us to have vocal dynamics which keep the audience engaged. As soon as we move into a monotone voice where I'm just kind of delivering information, even if the information and the content is really great, people are going to check out at a certain point because I'm not doing anything vocally to say, hey, pay attention. This is important. This is important information. Alert, alert. So really make sure that your voice is finding those vocal dynamics. It's going to be super, super important. So here are some ways that you can think about doing that. You want to speak your formatting. So if you have a slide deck, if you have an outline, use that as your guide for how to engage vocally. If you have a title, it's going to be big and bold. Hi everybody, today's meeting is fill in the blank. Subheading, space, space, read, breathe. Subheading, slightly smaller font, still bolded. What we're looking to accomplish today is, and then moving into your content, you have your different bullet points. Allow that to direct how you're moving through it vocally. If that feels a little challenging, maybe I'll do another video for you where we dive more deeply into that. You can lean on 2 things instead. One is going to be operative words. So what are the important words? You can hear me doing it, right? I'm emphasizing certain words that I really want people to know or that allow people to stay enrolled as I get to the ultimate idea, right? So really finding those peaks and valleys, determining operative words or words for emphasis is going to be a really simple access point to start figuring out how to allow your voice to be a little bit more playful, a little bit more interesting, and definitely a lot more present. All right, last tip, number 5, to make sure that you have a winning presentation, whether you're online or offline. Here is the key, my friends. Get to the point. What's the point? We are all a wealth of knowledge. We have so much to contribute. But it's really important that we have an objective, that we have a clear agenda, that we don't simply speak for speaking's sake or add too much. Oftentimes, less is more. I tell people, incite curiosity to invite further conversation. So don't worry about packing it all in there and potentially derailing your message because you couldn't really hone in on one clear objective. Make sure that what you're communicating is very distilled. And then once you've worked your way through your narrative arc, you can land on something that feels really accessible, really deliberate, really intentional. So get to the point. That means complete your presentation with a real sense of intentionality. Here's the thing, here are all the things I had to say. Wow, I'm so dynamic, I'm so present, my body is so open, you all are paying attention to me, I'm commanding your participation, and now here we are, and this is the thing. Great, thank you. Make sure you get to the point, end strong so that people know, okay, we're done, I know I have my takeaway, and that's it. My name is Minna Taylor. If you want to learn more, keep checking here for more videos. You can also visit our website at energizeyourvoice.net or follow us on Instagram for quick, easy tips, really fun learning moments, and beautiful visuals, frankly. On Instagram at Energize Your Voice. Thank you all so much. Rewatch this. There's a lot of content here. Have a beautiful rest of your day.